What's up, YouTube fans? Today I'm going to show you how to repair the smokestack on the Magic Square Light of Peace Optimus Prime figure. So if you were unlucky like me, you got a broken smokestack in the box. So when I did my unboxing, which you can go back and watch, this piece was in the box, and obviously this smokestack is broken. This one is actually good, so the way it's supposed to work is supposed to extend in and out of his arm. And unfortunately, this one doesn't do that because it's broken. So they did send a replacement set of parts. Came in a bag like this, and I got two of these. I only need one, and actually you only need this inner part. You don't need this outer part. Replacing the entire thing is actually really challenging because the pin that's holding is right here, and there's really no good way to back that out of here, out of the arm. The best way is to remove the inner pin right here, which holds this smokestack in, or this extending piece in. So the way they recommend it is to take a pin punch like this, which you can buy on eBay or actually Amazon or anything like that. And they basically tell you to line it up with the pin, and then you slowly close this up and the pin gets closer and closer until it pops the pin. Now, I tried that method. It actually broke or bent several of my pin punches like this. You know, it comes with replacement pieces, so you can do, more than one. But I tried it. Here's what I'm talking about. Those little pins are replaceable. And it just doesn't work. It's not strong enough, and it's just too awkward to get in there. So I recommend using a automatic pin punch like this. So this is spring-loaded, and the way it works is there's a spring in here. You can tighten the tension like this or loosen it. I recommend getting it pretty loose because you don't want too much power in it. And so as you load tension down on this is very sharp, so don't put it on your finger, but you push this down, the spring loads, and when it gets to the bottom, it releases this and basically punches the pin out. So this is good to get the pin started so you can get it out. But first, we got to get access to this. And unfortunately, the only way I could see to get access is open up the arm all the way. There's a screw right there. So go ahead and get a screwdriver. And you're going to remove that arm. So here's what you should end up with. And just set that screw aside. Don't lose that. All right. So now you're going to take this. And you really need to set this on like a plastic base or something to hold it, so that you can put some pressure on it. But you want something soft enough, has a little give, but hard enough that it'll take the pressure out of the pin punch. All right, so here's my setup. I've got this is going to be resting on this. You need something to kind of give it some backing. Now, you need to know which way the pin should come out. And this is the front of the arm. Here's the back. Now, in the Magic Square picture, they show that you need to get the rough edge out first, but in the Magic Square picture, they show going from the front to back. I think you actually want to go from back to front. So I'm going to try it and see if that's the right direction. The rough edge should come out first. And make sure you line up the pin punch with the pin before you do that. All right, so it should pop through. And yep, I got the rough edge just leading out. You can see it's just poking out like a turtle. So we'll give it one more punch. And this is very hard to show on camera, but I'm trying to do my best. All right, so I got it out a little bit more. Now that we got a lead on it, maybe we'll do one more. All right, so we got a lead on it now, so now we can use probably this to get it out, but unfortunately for me, this doesn't work until I've got it loose. And I don't know why Magic Square recommended using this, because it's not going to work unless you have this pin already removed, and even then it's pretty tough. So I recommend a tool like this. So this is just a little hammer and a different style pin punch. Now you can continue using this, but you can see the edge gets wider and wider. So go ahead and grab the hammer and the punch like this. You're basically going to hammer right here. So give this a nice backing. And again, make sure you're going the right direction with that pin. And we're going to knock it a few times. All right, and the pin came out. So you can see I knocked out that pin. See through. And here's that pin. So now that we got that out, we can finally pop off this piece on the bottom, pop this thing all the way down, and it's actually kind of stuck in there, so I can just push it out. Here we go. And there's the broken smokestack that we're going to be getting rid of. Is the two pieces, so we'll set that aside. And you got to do the same thing for the new one. So the new one, again, you're going to have to set it on here and pop the pin. Make sure, again, you want to get the rough side out first. And like I mentioned, it's the rear of it is, you want to push from the rear because I guess the rough side's on the front. Hard to know, hard to say. I only know because I did it, but you're basically going to pop that pin out. Just like I just showed you with this. Start with one of these and then do the rest with this. And you'll end up getting this piece out just like I showed you. All right, so this is going to go back into here. And it is actually grooved, so there's a groove right here on the bottom of this. So that groove is going to fit in a certain way. So you can see there's a groove on the outer edge of that smokestack. So get this inserted all the way up. And I need a little bit more room, so I'm going to push this through. Okay, here we go. So line this up, make sure you have the all right. And now that you have it back in, you have to put the pin back in. So again, we're going to load it from the same side. It doesn't really matter, I guess, but get the pin in there. You'll get it pretty much almost all the way, and then you're going to punch that last little bit. For mine, I could probably just do one little tap, and I'll probably get it in, but let's see. All right. Once you have that pin back in there nice and secure, you can just test, make sure this is working how it should. Should extend up and push down. Then you can put the screw back in. So go ahead and put this back on here and then get the screw back in there. All right, and there it is, folks. The Magic Square Prime with the two good smokestacks. And definitely looking better here. Now, a little bit of caveats with the process I just did. Number one, even to receive these parts from Shozi store or whatever retailer you order it from will take a couple weeks or maybe even months. For me, it took 2 months to get those parts. And that's because they have to get the part from Magic Square and then they have to ship it to you. So there's a little bit of a wait there. And then actually doing this process, I would rate this is pretty difficult. This is probably like out of 5, this is probably a level 3 or 4. You know, it's not meant for beginners. So if you've never done a pin punch removal or just pin removal in general, I don't recommend doing this as your first one. This one's kind of challenging, especially because you can't easily access it. And so you kind of have to know what you're doing and square things up before you punch the pin. And also, I couldn't use this tool, which they recommended in their instructions. So this would actually have made it a lot easier, but just because I couldn't use it because it just bends the pin, that makes it harder. Now, I will put a link to the kit I have here, which came with the little hammer and a little manual pin punch piece and all the pieces you need to do this. If that doesn't work, then you might want to get one of these. So I'll put the link to one of these as well from Amazon in the description below. Like I mentioned, this is a more advanced process, but I'm glad I got it fixed. I still feel the same way about this figure. My final thoughts on this haven't changed. The materials are definitely a letdown here, and the fact that there's no paint, almost zero paint, other than the yellow here, makes this feel still as a cheap figure. Although it's a great looking and great articulation robot, I just don't appreciate the materials and the quality and the lack of paint. So this doesn't change my feelings about the figure, but I did want to show you this. Hopefully it helped you guys out there. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.